since I started doing Coast to Coast, people started calling about 2012. Just what does it mean? What is it? What will happen? I don't know. These panelists, I'm going to hold it. These panelists may help. Never do. We sometimes think, what did the Mayans know? Or merely did the calendar person just stop making calendars? Who knows? So by reason of introduction with this group of panelists, beginning on my far left, David Wilcock. David, of course, is a lecturer, filmmaker, mystic, and as I just found out a week or so ago, a singer, and a very good one. We might have you do a cappella.
Tie your yellow ribbon.
Thank you. And then we have, in addition to the panel, Mr. Goodnison. Goodney is a member of the mystery schools, secret societies, and has decided to go public with his beliefs on 2012. Wow. John Hogue.
Yeah.
Many call John Hogue the reincarnated Nostradamus. He doesn't look like Nostradamus, does he?
He does.
Brahms. I look like Johannes Brahms.
But truly, he's a rogue prophet and does an incredible job in what he does. Daniel Munoz. He's a journalist, he's a researcher, specialized in the study of prophecy for more than 20 years. Brings excellent credentials.
Thank you. Now, actually, what is important for you to say and to know is prophecies is a subject that in Latin America, my country is Mexico, but in Argentina, Ecuador, Chile, and wherever, people is talking about 2012 because something that happened in Mexico, the Mayan prophecies. So we're going to be able to speak a lot about this and to say some things that are not being said yet about these prophecies. For instance, they were not carved in stone, as it said. I will tell you something about it.
Yes, you will. And then, of course, we have intuitive remote view.
Yeah.
One of the best. Sean David.
Yeah.
Who also happens to be a USC football fan.
Trojans, baby!
Oh, good.
And what we're going to do this hour, we're going to have the panelists make a statement. We're going to have a conversation about 2012, and then in the second hour, we're going to take your phone calls for these distinguished folks. David, let's start with you. Your views on 2012.
Well, my views on 2012, as probably many of you know, have evolved over a long period of time. I felt from a very early age as if there was something quite profound that was going to be happening on this planet. That HBO documentary on Nostradamus, where you see the nuclear missiles and he's giving all these prophecies of the Antichrist and everything, that really had a strong effect on me. And I felt like since I had started to experience some psychic things of my own, someone on the caliber of Nostradamus, obviously, you should take it seriously when he says that we're heading into this period of great change on the planet. So what I like to focus on as far as 2012 scholarship goes is how we take these rather outlandish sounding prophecies and transform them into something that actually can be proven scientifically, so that we're not merely asking you to take your word for it about what a particular intuitive reading would say or what a particular ancient prophecy would say. So that's where my scholarship comes into view. Now, there's a lot of scientific material which we're going to be talking about in tonight's conference. I did find out that it's sold out, so I do apologize if you haven't signed up for that yet. then the only option left is to sign up for my Monday workshop tomorrow from 1 to 3. I guess we do still have space in that one, but tonight's is now sold. So, and it just has to do with the popularity, I guess. I apologize. This has never happened before. So, it appears from a multitude of different sources that within the black ops communities of our United States government and other governments, there is a knowledge of what they would consider to be an impending cataclysm of some kind. It's important to stress that they do believe on that level that this is what we're heading into is a disaster. Thus what you're seeing is DUMBs, deep underground military bases being built all over the world. You're seeing a lot of covert preparations being done. Richard Hogue and I have had a lot of discussion recently about the fact that the recent bailout money, how $350 billion of it just disappeared, could be part of like the socking away for 2012 fund that's been going on here. So let's just get that out on the table right off the bat. The fact is a lot of people do foresee some sort of cataclysm or disaster coming out of this. Apparently the governmental groups got this inference from looking through devices that were derived from extraterrestrial reverse engineered technology, one of which is called Looking Glass. And these devices allow you to look through time and actually view the future on what you would think of as like a television screen, more or less. And in looking at the future, what they have determined, and this is from multiple testimonies I've heard from people who've spoken to me directly and I've interviewed about this, is that in 2012, the end of the year 2012, there is some sort of bifurcation point in reality. And all they can see after that point is what appears to be white light. They have been able to look sort of after this junction where the white light shows up, but then from that point on, all the future that you look at is totally subjective depending on who's looking at it, okay? So what this really suggests is just one of many levels of possibility that there is some sort of multidimensional event coming. Now on the mundane level, it does appear that the Earth experiences some sort of pole shift. But what I've done throughout multiple times on with George and multiple times on my website, you can check out more about this, divinecosmos.com, is to demonstrate a workable science suggesting that matter and energy itself are composed of an intelligent, conscious energy, okay? And this energy is capable of shifting in frequency so that this water bottle that I have here could potentially disappear if I were to raise the vibration of the molecules above the speed of light. If you cross that critical barrier of light speed, then you've now displaced into a higher dimension, so to speak. There's a lot of anecdotal and scientific evidence to show that this can be done, including, of course, the vortex phenomena on the Earth, like the Bermuda Triangle, where you see planes and ships disappearing. And so as we go on, I'm going to talk a little more about this. George, how much more time do I have?
You're done.
I'm done?
Time to go to a promotion.
I felt some burning holes in the side of my head there. I'm a little bit psychic.
I can't hang up on you here. One thing I always like about having David on Coast to Coast is I can come in and go, then I leave for 20 minutes. Come back and go, and I leave. Goodney, tell us your involvement. How did you get interested in 2012?
Well, my background, to just enlighten that a little bit, is from a secret organization that basically is preparing for 2013, not 2012. And that is the whole message of this organization, is that 2013 is what's important. Before that, yes, there are things going to happen, but we have to focus on what comes after 2012. So our work, I've been working with this organization for over 30 years now, and they have been on the planet structured as they are today for 3,000 years, since the times of King Solomon. And everything in that work has been towards this end of days, this Armegeddon that is coming. So that's where that interest comes from.
I noticed you're wearing a ring that looks like a Knight Templar ring. Is there any significance to that?
Yes, I am a member of the Knights Templars Order, yes.
I've just been learning about you guys a lot lately.
John, you bring an interesting perspective to 2012.
Yes, I was talking to Chicken Little the other day. I said, Chicken, why didn't anything happen in 2000? Why did we have a high noon on May 4th, 2000, and May 5th had no shift of the axis. I'm thinking that maybe 2012, which by the way is in a crowd of prophetic tradition calendars, it's almost there going, hello, remember me? I'm the number, I'm this date. That we all love to put everything on a date. It's just something that we like to do. It's like a laundry list for the future. The thing that I feel about it is that when 2012 is over, maybe we'll start really looking at the way we affect the future by our actions today. And once this arbitrary date is very sincerely calculated by the Mayans, but there was also the Chaldean dates, there's also the 500-year cycle of the Celts, there's also many others. In fact, some people would say that 2012 is 4 years late, that last year is when we really started the evolutionary change. When the cosmic day of 36-year cycle went into cosmic night from the Mesopotamian version of a grand cosmic year. I'd like to ask you all of this, and I'll defer. When you look at some date that defines an age, answer me this. What was the moment, the date, the year, when you stopped being a child and became a youth? Or when you were a youth and you became an adult? Tell me when the palm trees in front of this hotel stopped being a palm frond and became these great, beautiful palm trees that they are. These dates are important indicators, but I think one can get too fixated on them and realize that the great, great procession of ages is as slow as a great cedar of Lebanon growing.
Nice.
Well said. Daniel, you've been looking at prophecy now for more than 20 years. That's a long time.
It's a long time because I'm Mexican, and in Mexico, prophecies. I suppose every one of you are familiar with the Mayan prophecies, don't you?
Yes.
What says the third prophecy, for instance?
What says the what?
Weren't you familiar? The third prophecy, the fourth prophecy. There are 7 prophecies. 7, 5, 7. And the 7 prophecies, in the 7th one and in the first one, it says that in the 21st of December of the year 2012, there will be an alignment of these suns, these stars, these planets that will give a new time, will be a ray, kind of a ray coming from the center of the galaxy, the central sun. It says the prophecy exactly this way, that will change the world, that will change the system. And it's been said from years in Mexico. So think about this. Have you heard about Castañeda, for instance?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you heard about this old fellow? There's a lot of persons that talk about these Mayan prophecies. There is a calendar called Tzolk'in. It's in Mayan, Tzolk'in. The Tzolk'in, or Tzolk'in, as we pronounce it, is composed by this month of 20 days, every month. So it's very important for you to know that the Mayans were very good astronomers, excellent astrologists, good mathematicians. I don't know if you knew that the number 0 was invented by them. Well, these persons were very good scientists. They loved to watch the stars, the precisions, the movements, the everything that now, for instance, with the astrology that we don't consider as a serious matter now, they consider everything. There is a codex called the Dresde Codex. And in this Dresde Codex, which is in Germany, not in Mexico, there is a table called the Saros Eclipse Series Table, Saros. I don't know if you're aware, the last year and 2007, and the crop circles, there was a lot of disinformation regarding this day, December the 21st, 2012. And also, there was a lot of information in other prophecies. I mean, not only the Mayans. Have you heard about Parravicini, Benjamin Solari Parravicini, the Argentinian Nostradamus? He has a lot of information regarding this date. Have you heard about the Cherokee prophecies? They have a lot of information regarding these years. about the Holy Virgin prophecies, the Fatima prophecy, the Garabandal prophecy. There is a lot of information. So my first question is for every one of you and for them is why just to take in consideration the Mayan prophecies if every single prophecy is pointing toward this point, 2012, the end of the time. The time is never say the end of the earth. It's never say the end of the human species. Even if we can see, if you watch television, if you read the newspapers, that everything is toward that end, that point. Something is going to change, but actually something is changing right now. So if we are going to study prophecies, if we are going to talk about these prophecies, it's very important to know, first of all, that a prophecy is a warning. It's not something that is going to happen for sure. So if they are warning, the Holy Virgin is warning, the Amaterasu goddess in Japan is warning, the Mayan warned, and everyone and every single culture in the earth is warning. Why are we so afraid about 2012? Let's think about a little bit later, but it's very interesting when you have the information. I'm not an investigator like them. I'm not a specialist on the spirit. I'm just a journalist. What is important for me as a journalist is to give you information. What is important to empower people is information. And what is not empowering, but giving a little bit more fear, what makes you afraid, is disinformation. Believe me, there is a lot of disinformation in this very moment.
You are all a joke.
Come on.
Maybe we're a joke.
You'll get your time during your question session, all right?
This is a waste of everyone's time.
Why are you here?
Maybe we should
Bye-bye.
My name is Vera Kocha Pachakuti. I come from Machu Picchu.
Okay, and you,
I'm coming from
I
Mexico.
tell you what, when we go to questions, you'll get your chance, all right? Thank you.
And that's it.
You are all lost.
And then Sean David Morton. By the way, one of the great things about our country, sir,
Yes.
is people have an opportunity to express their
Your
views
country is lost.
like you do, okay? So
You're a
just
warmongering,
give us,
fear-mongering, egotistical, narcissistic, hedonistic bunch of pigs. Why don't you tell us? Each one of you is ungrateful.
am I running for president? I'm sorry, sir. That was the wrong conference.
This is the wrong conference. It should say unconscious. All right, let's let deal with that there. Let's shift the posture. Microphones. We are.
Mike.
Use it.
Here.
So good. I gotta get that video. I will put it on the website.
All right, we have a.
This is ALIENSHIFT, and we are at Hilton LAX.
The fantastic thing about the people on this panel and you folks here, the people on this panel and the folks here is we have a fantastically elegant and eloquent concordance of facts and information leading up to 2012. We have a scientific community that is talking about massively increased solar cycles around the 2012 to 2014 timeframe. We have a fascinating fluctuation in the electromagnetic fields of the Earth where true north and mag north are moving towards each other. At the same time, we have ancient monuments built in the ancient past by the Egyptians that give a time code specifically of three pathways of a path towards ascension, a path towards materialism, and a path towards the pit, if you will, at the same time where you have three different forms of evolution going on the planet, all simultaneously. You now have the Mayan prophecies that also come in. And by the way, the Egyptian pyramids talk about a rather ominous period of time between 2012 and 2014 that's called the River of Fire in the pit. That seems to be some kind of cosmic event that washes those who don't get it into this pit, if you will. The edge of the pit beginning with what the pyramid predicts is a financial collapse beginning in late 2005, 2006, directly coinciding with what happened with the tsunami in Asia, and then after that with what happened in New Orleans with Katrina, et cetera, et cetera. Now we have the ending of the Aztec calendar on October 28th of 2011. We have the ending of the Mayan calendar on December 21st of 2012. We have the Earth actually moving out of the galactic plane down to the bottom underneath the galaxy, if you will. We have very interesting alignments of Jupiter and Saturn on either side of the sun, which are now being shown to us in crop circles, actually in Avebury, the position of all the planets in 2012. We have dates coming up which are of interest. We have a harmonic convergence, another harmonic convergence, the capstone of the energy from 1987 harmonic convergence on May 27th, 28th, and 29th of 2010, where I hope all the chakra points of the world come together. The base chakra of Lhasa, Tibet, prostate ovarian chakra of Cairo, Egypt, the solar plexus chakra of Stonehenge, the throat or the voice chakra of Los Angeles, California, because we are the voice or the throat for the voice of the world. We're television, we're movies, we're radio, and the third eye chakra coming out of Osaka, Japan. We are now allowed to live in this age where the Mayans talk about the Mayan Codex, which tells us that all is one, life has purpose, God is love, which is the point that these ancient peoples from the past, which may have been us, are trying to communicate to us in the future, that we in fact now are becoming co-creators. Gods ourselves, and we're co-creators of what this new reality is going to be. And we can actually create a holographic wave where after 2012, it means that the light is going to be distributed evenly across everyone around the planet. It means one man will not be a slave of another, as
That's right.
information and economics are going to be spread out all over the planet. The other aspect of this is as well is that, yes, I believe that you should work and do everything that you need to do, and you know what? The planet's going to evolve one way or the other. That the Earth itself, with all of us as the brain matter, the cells, if you will, of the Earth and the planet, that the wave is coming. What our job is to make sure your surfboard is waxed, that you figure out that the tidals and waves and currents that are sucking at you are beginning to start the wave, and then you paddle like hell when the wave starts coming. Or that you have your satellite dish nice and polished off to receive the wave and the signal.
That was it.
That's the signal, don't you see?
Yeah!
Come and get
The last 10 minutes have been good.
me! So it's glorious. It's glorious in a lot of different ways. It just happens when we get all psyched up. It's glorious because we co-create. We have it. Soft now?
I think you popped it, Chef.
Yeah. Close now, so it's okay.
And they said to me, just moderate this panel. It'll be nice and easy. No controversy. I woke up late. How come I have not heard any of you talk about the possibility of some kind of tragedy occurring during this time period?
Hey, I thought I just did.
John?
I said I thought I just did because.
The only thing tragic news had was the mic went.
Okay, testing 1, 2, testing. Okay, can you hear me now? Good. All right. Well, what I prefaced what I was saying with was that you're looking at massive solar flare activity as we move into cycle 24 of the sun. The military seems to be worried, this is all the RAND Corporation, all the studies that they did in the 1960s, of what happened when true north and magnetic north came together. Could there in fact be an electromagnetic shift of the planet? Edgar Cayce talked about a polar shift between 1998 to 99. There was a polar shift, but there's 3 magnetic norths, and the magnetic norths went from 1 to 2 to 3, so there was a very slight shift of about 5 degrees, but not with the destruction that Cayce predicted. Notice that everything has been pulled back by a factor of 10. Why? Because people got together in 1987 for their harmonic convergence then. They're going to get back together, thank you, is this working now? They're going to get together in 2010 when the next harmonic convergence actually comes up. We okay? Well, the next harmonic convergence comes up. And of course, I think what we've seen, luckily in some ways, is that we've seen the 5th night of the Mayan calendar where we've had Armageddon over the course of the past year, but it's been financial rather than physically destructive. It's had the same effect as a war where factories have closed, people are out of work, et cetera, but you're all alive to see it. In other words, the playing field has been left relatively even. We've gone through a financial Armageddon as things have begun to unravel, but that gives us this fantastic opportunity to start to come together and start to create what's next, what's new, what's beyond 2012.
Here's the big question. How did they know what was going to happen?
Yeah. something is very important for you to say is, as I told you, Mayan were very good astronomers, and they were also very good observers. They knew about the effects when the sun shines in this place and from this place to that place. But something is very important for you to understand. It's not only for Earth, this end of the times. It's for all the solar system. It's very important for you to know this. The same is happening to Jupiter, to Venus, to Mercury, to every single planet, because this is a cell. Then the Earth is the sun, in fact. So they were observers of the sun. Something is very important also for you to know is Mayans knew these effects and knew the dates because they were observers. So they knew because the sun was in this point and this happened on the Earth. So they were been observing all those things all the time. So they are now just calculating and not predicting nothing because they knew the facts. And if they know how they move, I mean the stars, how they move and how is the effect that is producing on Earth and every single planet of the solar system, so they knew everything that should happen if everything is in the same situation. So if something is not possible to be changed, but what we can change is what is happening on our sphere. I'm agreeing with what Everett is saying here, because it's data, it's everything happening in this moment. These Mayans talk about the change of our times, this ray that is coming from Alcyone, from the center of the galaxy. The Mayans also talk about the time outside the time of no time as is known. And this is the time of no time. So they knew the sun was very closely related with the personality and the psyche of the human people and also of the psyche of the Earth. So if we are observing these things that are happening, why don't we observe the relation and the correlation that exists between the Earth, or the Mother Earth, or Gaia, or whatever, the Pachamama, as I suppose he could correct us, that is called, and the people, and us, every one of us, because we are the protagonists, we are the main people that is going to live this. It's us, it's nobody else. Have you heard about indigo children?
Yes.
They are now coming from 74, 75, now there's adult children.
Right.
That now the indigo children that now are the adults, they are acting in this way. Maybe these are the indigo children, indigo children, and they have the genetics. The thing is about genetics. What the sun is provoking, what is giving to this planet is genetics.
So it's the X-Men.
It's kind of an X-Men. Yes, of course. It's kind of this. Because something that is important also for you to know is these prophecies, at least the Mayans, not all the other ones, because this is necessary to consider everything.